Only 2 days to go until the Metro Manila Film Festival comes to an end. And with the pandemic, crowds and long lines in theaters are no longer the norm. How is this year's run going for the MMFF entries? We speak to Armi Cacanindin, a producer of the internationally recognized film Kung Maupay Man It Panahon, live on The Final Word. Good evening to you, Armi. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Mai. Thank you for having me.
Okay, while this film is among the biggest winners in the MMFF, and now with 2 more days for MMFF films in theaters, how is your film doing in the box office so far?
It's really bad. The first few days, sobrang heartbreaking nga. And then, because of the COVID cases, tumataas ulit. And then level 3, expectedly, mas mababa pa rin yung ticket sales. We haven't recouped, 5% of our production budget. Maraming factors din kasi, not just the rising cases, but there was Super Typhoon Odette. Na ironically, our film is set in the aftermath of Yolanda, and then nagka-Odette nga. At the same time, the ticket prices, nakakagulat na dati it's just 250, 300. Now it's as high as 300 to 450.
So definitely, primary among the reasons is the shift to Alert Level 3 in Metro Manila certainly affected ticket sales, ano?
Oo. And I guess the past 2 years that we're on lockdown, giba na rin yung habits natin in consuming content, consuming films and series. But I'd like to think that it's the content or the story that is the king. Kung ano man yan, it will definitely find its way to the audience. We just have to, pinpoint our audience and think of other distribution models or distribution platforms. Matagal na rin naman na somehow ine-expect na yung decrease ng cinema, not just here in the Philippines but in other countries because of the advent of the streaming platforms, the streaming giants even. So eto na yon, nangyayari na siya. It's so sad that even the biggest films that we have right now, including ours, na even the other films on MMFF, ito yung mga na-produce or natapos before the pandemic. So even these ay na meant for the theaters na for cinema, hindi na rin nako-consume ng mga tao sa cinemas. But I believe na in the end, it will find its audience.
Okay, but let's talk about your film though. This has gained critical acclaim in Europe and other countries. And let us just tell our viewers na yung Kung Maupay Man It Panahon, it translates in English to whether the weather is fine, and it's set during the time of Super Typhoon Yolanda, like you said, when it ravaged the city of Tacloban, and ang dami nga nitong awards even dito sa MMFF, ano? Now, given this film, ngayon yung social media ngayon may sinasabi na, ang dami nagsasabi na sana mas maganda ang content ng mga Filipino producers, filmmakers. What are your thoughts on that?
Sa mga nagsasabi ng ganun, I do hope na kahit sana nakapanood sila ng 1, 2, 3 pelikula ngayon sa MMFF at wag lang nilang i-judge based on trailers, because aside from our film, there's Big Night and A Hard Day na nag-reap din naman ng awards at sa mga reviews ay good films, and not just parang naisip ko nga previous MMFF pre-pandemic, ito yung mga editions na somehow yung ibang mga films ay minamadali because you will submit to MMFF, they approve, and it gets shown months later. But these films were produced years ago. So somehow, quality-wise, hindi siya minadali. Pinagtuunan talaga ng oras para matapos. Plus, it's not those na limited crew na kailangan for the pandemic. So, itong mga sa social media, I just hope na kahit pa paano, give chance to these films, to these entries, and maraming factors na hindi lang just sa story. There's a whole lot of factors involving filmmaking, like taxes, government support, na sana fina-factor in natin kapag nag-judge tayo ng mga pelikula.
Yeah. Well, finally, as a film producer yourself, how do you think can producers and filmmakers survive and also thrive in these challenging times? And where do you think the film industry is headed this 2022 and beyond, given the things that you mentioned? There's Netflix, there's streaming services. So let me get your thoughts on that.
I'm still very hopeful and optimistic that in the next few years, films will still thrive, not in the theaters or not in the cinemas, but in different platforms like VOD, TVOD. We just need to somehow broaden our revenue streams, and at the same time, it's not just the Philippines that we are targeting. For example, for Kun Maupay, Panahon, we will be distributed in other countries such as Indonesia and Germany, Japan, and Taiwan, because nga meron kami international co-producers. So let's think of films not just for our audience in the Philippines. So that can be one way to thrive.
Yes, and I hope your film can reach more audiences worldwide. Thank you for speaking with us, Armi Cacanindin, producer of award-winning film Kun Maupay Manit Panahon.